everyone. It's Melanie, also known as That Lady in the Yellow Jacket. Thank you so much for joining me today. As usual, I have another great show, and hopefully you've been catching my shows every Sunday evening. And we've got another great guest for you tonight. Tonight I have Chris Ryerson. He's a project manager at Fabville, which is a fabrication company, a center out of Somerville High School. And he's going to share more about the fabrication with the high schoolers and projects, as well as artisans. You know what? I'm just going to let him tell you, okay? Chris, thank you
Hello.
so much.
Hello, my name is Christopher Ryerson. I am the project manager of Fabville, which is a makerspace out in Somerville High School. I work for as I said, I work for Artisans Asylum, which
Artisans Asylum. That's
Yes.
that's the name. It was Artisans, and I couldn't think of the last name. Artisans Asylum.
Yes. I am here. I am excited to tell you about what we are able to do with a makerspace.
Okay. So let's talk about Fabville initially, right out of the high school,
Yes.
and the makerspace.
Yes. So Fabville started in 2016 as a project or as an opportunity for the citizens of Somerville, paid for with a grant from the city of Somerville and the Fab Foundation. It was a Fab Lab for a bit. Now it is no longer. It passed through a couple hands of management, including parts and crafts and a school administrator named Jason Behrens. Now it is run by Artisans Asylum since about 2021, following the reopening after the COVID shutdowns. I started as the project manager last year in the middle of October. Yeah.
I know, it's been over a year now.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
I can and I can't. It has been the best job that I could have asked for. It is me-shaped work, and I kind of stumbled into it, which I'll tell you about a little later. But I've also been preparing all my life for a job like this, where facilitating fabrication, creation, and creativity is the name of the game and the goal.
Now, have you always been a creative, hands-on person from a child, or how did you fall into this?
From childhood, Legos, piles of them, and inheriting them from my older brothers, as well as family members who thought they were too old for Lego. You never are. But also playing with mud outside, creating, and finding stories in the world around me. I am autistic, I have ADHD, and for me, art was one of the ways that I learned how to explore myself, express myself, and then start advocating for myself, primarily through spoken word poetry. Now that's like my personal life. As far as what brought me to Artisans Asylum and Fabville is happenstance. I met someone who I had met in passing at Pavement Coffee down in Alston, and then when they had told me about Artisans Asylum, I made myself a little annoying and said, "Can you please show me? Pretty please." And he did. He let me in. I signed in as a guest, and then I was wandering around. And the then project coordinator, the events coordinator there, Blue, saw me and said, "Hey, what you doing?" And I said, "I'm wandering. How do I get involved?" And we talked about my career goals and my education and stuff like that. And they said, "Well, it just so happens a job is opening up." And I applied, and because of my decade or so of nonprofit work, I came to the front of that application process and was able to start last year.
How amazing is that? You're just at a coffee shop in Alston, by the way. That's where I reside.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, I love Alston.
Pretty nice place.
It is. It's a pretty neat place. That you just head out to a coffee shop in Alston, and then it lands you a job.
It is. Life is a Rube Goldberg machine, and all I can hope is that the hard knocks aren't as hard as they could be.
All right, let's talk about some of the good things that are happening at Fabville. You know, why don't we start with some pictures that I have? Clearly, that's your logo.
The Fabville Design Lab. We are a digital makerspace, so we focus on machines that utilize a computer to tell them what to do. 3D printers, laser cutters, wood CNC. We also happen to have plenty of hands-on tools like drills, I forgot other tool names, hammers, that's one. All of those kind of tools are also available, and all of it is for free. But Yeah.
So we're going to go back to the
Yeah.
pictures, but you'd say for free.
Yes.
How can people who, maybe if they're a Somerville resident, can anybody come? Do you have to be a Somerville resident?
While the program is focused on Somerville residents and Somerville High School students, literally everyone can walk in. It is for people who happen to be in Somerville at the time of entry. You're in Somerville, come on in. So it is free membership, materials, education, tool time, and as a venue for communities and organizations.
So,
Yes.
the kids, do they really use the space? You know, high schoolers now, they're attached to these, you know.
And
they're attached to their cell phones. Do they really use the space, and are they interested?
Yes, and they can use their cell phones as part of the creation process. What we do is teach the maker's mindset. Maker spaces have a culture about them as well, a community. And it's all about taking on problems or questions, saying, well, how can I do this? How is this table made? What do I want out of this product that I am thinking about? And when you try the first time, you're not going to succeed unless you're some kind of wunderkind. But you're going to ask, what did I expect to happen? What happened instead? And that is what we're teaching these students. And I'm not the only educator there. My t-shirt says Girls Who Code. That is one of the clubs that happen in the spring after school, where middle school girls and whoever happened to other middle schoolers who happen to like hanging out with the girls, as in, if they don't mind being in a club called Girls Who Code, they're welcome in. And Coach Peterson, who also helps run the Somerville High School robot team, she teaches them how to code and builds up computer science know-how. That is one group. Another group is our telescope class, which we have some pictures of. But Dr. Danielle Frostig is doing a long-term research program and grant with Harvard and MIT, where she was educated, trained, and works, to help students gain a understanding and breadth of knowledge of advanced manufacturing techniques, advanced astronomy, stuff like that, and they make their telescopes.
So speaking of telescopes and
Yes.
pictures, let's get back to the pictures. I
Yeah.
have this next picture up. Can you explain what's going on here?
Yes, on the far left is a CNC machine. It's called the ShopBot. Right underneath it are some of our 3D printers. In the middle are two iterations of the telescopes that Daniel Frostig's class created. And then on the far right is the Fabville space, which is inside of a high school classroom in the basement of Somerville High School. And all of these together show one of our days in the telescope class, which currently is running on Wednesdays. They design the parts, they print them out or cut them out, and then assemble them alongside educators that Danielle brings in from across MIT, Harvard, and the Boston area. These folks are professional astrophysicists, engineers, and optical experts, as in they get to bring out a big old mirror, hold it up, and say, how do we use this to look at the stars?
So are those professionals? Do they volunteer their
With
time?
Danielle, yes. And Danielle is getting paid through her research grant. I am getting paid from Artisans Asylum, and we have a large group of volunteers who step up to help us out. There's also paid opportunities for folks who are wanting to teach people skills and programs, stuff like that. You can talk to me through my email, which I'll plug at the end, and we could see if you could teach a class at Fabville. It will be a free class, but you, the educator, will get paid.
So, folks, if you're just joining us, I'm Melanie, known as that lady in the yellow jacket, and my guest tonight is Chris Ryerson. He's a project manager at Fabville and also affiliated with Artisans Asylum, and they create cool, neat stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go back to some pictures. What about this next picture?
So this is just a quick example of a fun little project that you can do with a laser cutter. This is called Push Fit. All of those pieces used to be a flat sheet. And with a design that you create on a computer by taking a picture and digitizing it or vectorizing it, you can then tell the robot, the laser cutting machine, how to cut it out. You pull it out and then put it together. This is just one example of many different projects that you can make. I have with me actually a keychain made on a laser cutter that one of my students made for me. It's stitched in red acrylic. Now, this is a sheet of acrylic.
Hold the keychain up a little bit so that we can see right there in front of camera too.
We got the...
Yeah. Okay, Vanna.
Yes. So, little projects like this get the students very much excited because they get to have an idea and make something right away. Other things that you can make include like this little Halloween decoration. It's a skeleton that was printed in one sheet on one of those machines you saw earlier. You pull it off, clean it off, and it can wiggle. I'm going to put that down so it stops clacking. Projects like that are some of the easy points of entry. Make something that will make you smile every day because you know you made it.
Do they sell these?
They can.
Selling them after they make them, or what do they do with the projects after they make them? And then we're going to go back to
some
more
of them
pictures.
are professionals. So we have some pictures later on of one of our power users, I'd say, Shimin. They are a incredible artist who makes acrylic, wood, and other materials into earrings. You've probably seen them if you are big on the farmers market and makers markets throughout this area. They have some incredible stuff, and you'll see in a second.
Let's go back to some pictures.
Yeah, please.
Let's get the next one here.
So this is just a picture of the space, what you can expect coming in if you're an organization or a individual. We have strong, stout work tables. We have a box full of computers, 10 of them that are powerful enough to run CNC machinery. The programs needed to take 3D models into G-code, which is a set of instructions. But that is some of the things on offer in this space, including paint, tools, arts and crafts supplies, stuff like that.
So if people now, I know we're gonna plug your email at
Yes.
at the end, but let's just plug it right now.
All right. It is Fabville.org. So Fabville.org is my website. My email address for my manager account, which will be the easiest way to reach me, is fabville@artisansasylum.com. Please don't ask me to spell out Artisans
No
Asylum.
worries.
I'm not ready.
I got you. I'll make sure they know it.
Thank you. Another way to contact us is through contact@fabville.org. Contact@fabville.org.
Okay, and this is, so folks, if you're just watching us, Melanie, the lady in the yellow jacket, I'm with Chris Ryerson. He's a project manager at Fabville. If you like to work with your hands, if you got kids that want to work with their hands, or you want to teach your kids, you want to do something special with your kids, or just do a family project, by all means, think about coming over to Fabville and creating something with Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, let's go back to some more pictures here.
Yeah, you got it.
Let's go to the next one.
So this is our this is our maker showcase. Every single year, we have an opportunity for local businesses, makers, artists, and students to come in and show off their projects. This year, we're hoping to have a maker's market as well. So if anybody listening would like to sell the things that they make, we'll be in contact, ideally. We also got to hear from a group from Tufts University last year who was making microsatellites that got sent up into space. So
microsatellites that got sent up into space?
Yeah, and they told us how and why they did that project and how a space like Fabville or another makerspace facilitated their prototyping. So they were able to test out the shapes that they wanted to send up in space over and over again with 3D printers. We also got to hear from our robotics team, who I will look up the name of real quick, but they have been placing in very high in tournaments throughout the last few years, and this year is looking very, very promising. They have a lot of freshmen and are very motivated and organized. They use the space all throughout the year, and in fact, even when I'm not open, they get to use the space because they are students. So the space is good for not just adults in Fabville, but it enriches the students there as well.
Enriches the students as well throughout the year.
Yeah. We get another example of our telescope parts and our 3D printing machines. those are hot end extruders that take plastic, melt it down, and layer it up one layer after another to create things such as the skeleton that I showed you just a second ago. It was recently Halloween, dating our show at the moment. But this kind of project is just one of the many different ones that you can make. That is a functional telescope that the kids got to take home after the class concluded last year.
All right, and let's go to the next one.
So this is that maker who I was talking about. Please give their Instagram a look, and also Fabville's Instagram, which you can find just searching up Fabville. But as you can see, if you'll go to the next picture as well, you can make screen printing at Fabville. If you give us a heads up, you can design that art, which was for the Fluff Festival, which is a Somerville favorite. And then with the next picture, acrylic earrings. Now, please do not compare yourself to Sheeman's excellence. They have been doing their absolute best to create a small business and utilizing all different types of maker spaces, from the foundry to the hatch maker space to the hive. And wherever they can get a tool, they utilize it. And Fabville just happens to be free and frequent. So we get their expertise, and they become part of the community, helping me teach other people how to use those laser cutters when they have time. Do not go in expecting to mind their brain, but you can go in expecting to learn, not just from me, but from my community members as well.
Okay, not learn. They can go in expecting to learn, not just from you, but from the community.
Yeah.
Speaking of learning, are there certain training days for people, or are there group training sessions, or is it more of a, you just come in, if you have a question, there's Chris over there who can help me?
Currently, there's one-on-one instruction with myself and 3 interns who are working with me this year. They're high school students. We will train you one-on-one for the machines. We will start with all right, what is your design? Oh, okay, you want to do that? I'll sit down, show you the process to get it from the computer screen onto the build plate or the workspace. And then we will do it again, and you will take over and start doing. You'll take the wheel and start doing the steps over and over again. So currently, it's quite hands-on and it's quite individualized. We are working on a Fabville 101 class, which will train you on all of our different tools, and give you small projects to go through along the way. We are also working on tool testing, but currently it's just, can I trust you to not burn down my building? That is built up through repetition, so keep showing up. But for the most part, we will start with me doing the project with you, step away so that you are getting the project done until you actually press go on the laser cutter, so to say. I would step up, check what you've done, and say, yep, you're ready to go. And then eventually we'll be able to trust you to do it on your own. So that is the current process. We're hoping to formalize it a little bit more soon, but not too formal.
Let's go back to Girls Who Code.
Yes.
So approximately how many girls are in the program?
With Girls Who Code, I do not have the specific numbers, but I do know that maker spaces and crafty spaces can sometimes have a reputation of being male dominated.
Exactly. What about Fabville then? The Fabville and
Fabville and Artisans Asylum are doing a little better. They're a little ahead of the curve. Last year we had 142 adults, with 46% being male, 27% being female, 11% having no answer for us, and 18% specifically identifying as LGBTQIA members. So we have a pretty darn good spread of folks, and from across the entire Boston area. This kind of community has to be actively maintained and actively marketed to the different groups. If you just put out a flyer that says, hey, Fabville's open, cool, someone might walk by and not know that it is applicable to them, that it is relevant. Because I know that anybody can benefit from the ability and the confidence to change the world around them by making something. If it's small as their home and something that makes them smile every day, or is very utilitarian, like a hook for their keys to go on, you can design that and make it and change your life for the better. or you could be working on projects that will spread awareness to the community or improve the community through organizing events, stuff like that. But you won't do that if you don't know how to get in. This is one of the reasons why I really wanted to talk to you, because we need to let people know that Fabville exists in the first place, that it is free, that it is open. And it's free on, it is open on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays throughout the school year, not including school holidays.
Folks, if you're just joining us, I'm Melanie, also known as that lady in the yellow jacket, and my guest tonight is Chris Ryerson. He is the project manager at Fabville, as well as being affiliated with Artisans Asylum, and he loves to make things. He wants you to know that Fabville is open for whomever is in Somerville at that time.
Yeah.
So if you're not a Somerville resident, it's okay. Just come on over to Somerville and use Fabville.
Yes, we are right next to City Hall and the library, which is Gilman Square, I believe. So we're right on the Green Line, super duper accessible.
What's one of your most memorable projects that has come out of Fabville? I know you mentioned the item that was, went to space. Or
So they didn't make that with us. They told us about it.
Okay.
Gosh, I wish. But one of my most memorable projects is a current one where robotic students are working on a big ol' event or extended event for other Lego robotics classes in the greater Boston area. And to do that, they are making a game board. So kids make a Lego robot and program it so that it uses all the tools to complete whatever challenge is set ahead of them. This challenge is related. Let me grab it real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, it is all about the sea and shucks. I'll find the name in a second. But we have to print out 250 little 1-inch trash bags, 200 breeze blocks, which are little 3-sided polygon that have to do with the sea in one way or another, and little treasure chests. 3D printers are fast, but they're not that fast. And the students who are heading up this project told me about it last week. And so for the last 10 days or so, we have been printing nonstop all of these little parts for the students, with the students throughout the school day coming down, finishing the prints, cleaning off the build plates, and starting them again. So all of that work is going constantly, even when I'm not there. So that's one memorable project. Another one is a community member, now friend of mine, who made an ankle loom. It is a one-sided loom about this big that has a working area about this wide, and as long as you've made as long as you have created the loom, as in the length of what you weave is as long as the machine is big. And they iterated over and over again to design a laser cut version that they now use whenever we're hanging out. So they just have it in their backpack or at home, and they will just start weaving on a loom they made, and are able to give out gifts that they've made on a loom they've made as they go. And it's really cool. That's one of my most memorable projects. And last year, it was about January that they joined us. And it was like the first really repeat community member that helped me feel like, oh wait, I'm hitting my stride. I'm able to help this and facilitate this fabrication.
You're hitting your stride.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. We only have a few minutes left. I know, time flies, it goes really fast.
Indeed.
Let's end on this note. Initially, when you started talking, you said you were autistic.
Yes.
Yes. So how has this helped you, and how can it help others if somebody, maybe a parent's at home with an autistic child who's saying, wow, I don't know if my child can do this, but you're the perfect example. So give me 90 seconds.
Real quick. I have dual presentation ADHD, severe symptomology across the board. I am about as ADHD as you can come. I am very, very autistic. I have a toolbox of coping mechanisms and communication tools because I had spaces like Fabville growing up. I had teachers who took the time to let me mess up a couple times and iterate and explore. I was able to, for me specifically, poetry helped me explore myself, express myself, and then I use those explorations and expressions to advocate for myself. This space lets me do that every single day, bounce around the space, work with people, and someone who might have my same neurodiversity or neurodivergence will have an opportunity to have agency, to have what they want to do matter and become something. They will have a tangible reminder, like this little 3D printed rat, that they made something and that they then get to play with, maybe subtly as fidget toys, underneath the table.
That's
and I
amazing.
think that's super neat.
Chris, that is amazing. We're going to end on that note.
Okay.
Folks, thank you very much for joining me, Melanie, the lady in the yellow jacket. And don't forget to make it a yellow day.